Hi everyone, welcome to channel Qtomation. In previous session, we have seen about quick examples of different type of request by using REST assured. In today's session, we will see when we are sending a post request by using REST assured, what are the different ways by which we can send payload of that post request via REST assured. So we have already seen whenever there is a post request, there will be a request body or we can say payload. In REST assured, we can send post request payload in various ways depending on the content type and how the data is structured. Below are the most common ways to send post request payloads. We can send by using Hashmap. We can also use org.json library. We can also use external JSON file. And fourth way is by using Pojo class, that is plain old Java object. So these are the four most common ways of sending post request payload by using REST assured. So we will see in detail with examples as well. In today's session, we will mainly focus on Hashmap and how to use org.json library to send payload in post request. Now let me just show you one direct example. So let's go to Eclipse. Inside Eclipse, let's create a new class. I'm naming it as payload underscore hashmap demo. So we have created a one class. In this class, we will see how to send request of post request payload by using hashmap. If you have seen our previous sessions, in those sessions also we have used hashmap only. We have already seen those examples, but today also we will see one more example of using hashmap to send request body payload. So I have created a new class, and in this class again we have to import all the required packages. So I will just go to our previous sessions file. In our previous session file we have imported these classes and packages. Let's copy them and let's paste all this here. After that I will create one method. So let's create one method, but before that let me show you some practice REST assured APIs. So this is a website restful-api.dev. On this website you can see different type of get request, post request are present. I will use this post request to add the object. This is the endpoint or we can say the URL which we have to use for sending this specific payload. Response code will be 200, and along with this response code we will get this response in our console. So when you hit this endpoint URL along with this payload or we can say a body in the post request, we will get this response. Response code will be 200 and this is the response data. So we will use this payload body. If you observe this body, this is in JSON format. Name is one value, and inside this main JSON there is one more JSON object. If you see, data is nested JSON object. So we will see how to handle nested JSON object via sending payload. So when we are sending a body in our post request, we will use Hashmap. Let's see the example of Hashmap. So let's go to Eclipse. We have used import packages, same as our last session. Now I will create one method. Let's say creating one method void create product. So I'm just created one method. I have created one method and named it as create product. This is our method body. Now let's see how we can use Hashmap. So first, if you see the structure of our payload, this is the request body which we have to send. So what we will do, we will create one Hashmap object. In that Hashmap object, we will add all this data. But if you see, there are nested JSON object as well. So what we will do, we will first create one Hashmap object called as data. In that data, we will add all these four parameters and along with their values. And then we will create a new Hashmap object in which we will add name and data. So let me show you practically, then we will understand in better way. So now let me create one Hashmap object. And in Hashmap object, while creating, I am just defining that it will be a string. So key will be in the string format and value will be of any object type. So it can be a numeric or it can be a string as well. So we are defining one generic object type for values. Hashmap is nothing but a key value pair. I am creating one Hashmap object, let's say data equals to new Hashmap of type string and object. So we have created Hashmap data object. We have to import Hashmap as well from java.util package. Now in this data, we will add all these values. So we have created this data object in the form of Hashmap object, and in that we have to add these values: year, price, CPU model, and hard disk size. So now let's add one by one all these values. So let's go to Eclipse. So how to add the values? Data dot put first one is year, and we can give any value. So I'm just giving the same value. Let's say 2019. Similarly, we have to add data dot put price. I'm adding the same price as the request body which contains. So this is the body which we are adding here. So if we have added year, we have added price. Now we have to add these values as well. So I'm just copying those. Let's copy. I'm just commenting. And let's add one by one those values. So data dot put CPU model, and this is the value of CPU model, and then hard disk size. and the value of that hard disk size is 1 TB. So we don't need this now. So we have added all the four values in our data object, which is of hashmap type. Now we have created this data object. Now if you see the request payload, what other things are present? So this we have already created now, which we have to pass in our payload. But along with that, if you see the main body structure, we have to pass name as well. So what we will do, we will create one more hashmap object. Let's say product data. So I will create one more hashmap object. I'm just copying this one, hashmap, and I will just name it as product underscore data. And in this product underscore data, we will simply put this data which we have created previously along with the name. So what I will do, I will just use product data dot put. What is the name which we have to pass here? So let me just copy the name as well. Name is a key and this is the value. So we have to put name as a key and then that specific value. And along with this, we have to pass data object as well. So I will just copy this one, product data dot put, and this data which we have created, that also we have to pass as a data, and this is a data object which we are passing here, which contains all this information. So now after passing this value, what will happen? This product data, which is of hashmap object, it contains name as this one, and this data object, which is again a nested JSON object. If you see here in body, it will contain name and we are passing data as well. So this information is also included. So overall, it will complete all this information. So this is our entire request body, which we can send now. So we have created product data hashmap object. We have stored all the information like name along with the value and data object along with all these values. Now what is the next step? Next step is again our basic syntax of given, when, and then. So what is the syntax? Given dot when dot then. So we have already seen how to use this given, when, and then. So given will contain all the prerequisites. For example, content type. Given will contain type. So content type we are passing it as application slash JSON. Along with that, what we have to pass? Along with the content type, we have to also pass body. So body which we have created just now, that also we have to pass. So inside this body, we have to pass this product data hashmap object, which contains all the content of our request payload. So we are passing content type, we are passing body, and then we can use dot when. If you see dot when, what is the request type which you are passing? Dot post. So this is a post request. And in this dot post, we have to pass the endpoint or URL. So what is the URL we have to use now? What is the URL? This is the URL. So this is the request body URL, and we are passing this payload to this endpoint, which will create this object, and it should return response as 200 as a response code, and this is the response body. It will contain all the information which we have passed in our request. It will create that resource on the server along with created date and one random ID. So now what I will do, I have to just copy this URL and let's paste that URL here. So we are passing this in when block. So we have passed content type, we have passed body in given section. In when section, we are mentioning what type of request we are hitting along with the URL. And now in then block, we can put validations on response. So first validation we are going to put is response code, that is status code. So what is the status code we are expecting? It should be 200. If you see that dummy sample APIs, it will return the response of 200. And let's see, we have to print this response in our console window. So to print the response in console window, we can also use dot log dot all. It will print all the response in our console window. Now let's save this file. So this is how we can send a request payload by using Hashmap. I hope you have understood this. Now let's execute this file. So when you are going to execute this file, it will hit this endpoint with the post request. It will pass this product data, which is nothing but entire request payload, and then it will capture the response. It will print the response in our console window. It will check whether the status code is 200 or not. So now let's execute this. How to execute the file? Right click, run as. Before running that, we have to mark it as test-ng test. So what we are missing here is we have to mark this with @test. So @test, then only it will act as test-ng test. Now let's execute this file. Let's execute this file as test-ng test. So let's execute this file. It is executing the file now. It will hit the API by using rest assured. If you see, total test run 1, one test case got passed. And if you see the console output, this is the console output which is showing you the response which we have received. This is the response which we have received, along with some random ID, name, created at, data, year, price, CPU model, hard disk size. So this is the expected response which is received. Our test case got passed. Now if you want to add some additional validations, that also we can do. For example, if you want to check whether name is Apple MacBook Pro 16 or not. So how to add that validation? We have already seen in our previous session. So how to add that validation? We can simply put dot body. In then section we can simply put dot body. Along with the body, what we can do? Which parameter we want to check? Let's say name, and we have to use equal to the value which we have to compare. So it will check whether in my response name contains, is it equal to this one or not. If it is matching, it will pass the test cases. If it is not matching, it will fail the test case. So now let's execute one more time. Let's execute this. So it is executing. If you see, again test case got passed. If you want to see whether CPU model is correct or not, or let's say price is correct or not, all those validation we can add. So how to check whether year is 2019 or not? So what we will do, it is present inside data object. So how to add that validation? Again, I will just copy this line. So it is present inside data. So data dot year equal to 2019. So let's execute this. If you see, test case got passed. So we are adding correct validations. If you put some incorrect validation, for example, let's say instead of 2090, I am making it as 2018. Now let's save this file and let's execute this file. Now if you see, test case got failed. Because why test case got failed? It was expecting 2018, but actual response it received 2019. So that's why it failed. So I'm just again making it as 2019, and let's again execute this file. So it will show you correct validation and test case will pass. Now test case got passed. So this is a way of using Hashmap to send a request payload of post request in by using Hashmap. I hope you like this video. In next session, we will see about one more way of sending payload by using what is the next option which we are going to see. So we have seen how to use Hashmap. In the next session, we will see how to use org.json library by which we can send request body. So let's meet in our next session.